Hi, everyone. First and foremost, I'd like to thank all of you for attending the book launch of Abroad Me. This has been a very exciting journey for me because I get to share with you all the things that I've learned as an overseas Filipino in Taiwan for 5 years. And frankly, I have asked myself 5 years, seriously, that's pretty much like toddler years for OFWs. Some of us would get to spend 2, 3, well, not years, but decades overseas. So 5 years for me, seriously, being a mom of a toddler myself. The first few years are actually when you learn the essentials. How to stand up, how to walk, how to express yourself. It's also the time that you get to learn what you want and what you need. Because as we grow older, we just tend to go with the flow, do what we have to, and sometimes get confused that what we want is what we need. And so on. And in the same way, during your first few years as OFWs, your senses are heightened. Everything is new and scary and challenging and exciting and lonely all at the same time. This is also the time that you get to try things on your own. You do what the locals do, you make mistakes, you fall down, and then you learn how to stand up and try again. I too have experienced all of these things, and you can say that the essentials that I've learned are still fresh. And I am hoping that future overseas Filipinos here in this room would be able to use that as leverage for your own endeavors as well. But don't get me wrong, I'm not asking every one of you to pack your bags and fly out. Believe me, that's the least of what our country needs right now. And that's actually the thing. Abroad Me isn't about leaving. If there is actually one thing that I'd like this book to get across is that overseas life isn't for everybody. And that's absolutely okay. I seriously believe that if we can, we should carve out our paths where we are the happiest. But for the rest of us, who want or need to work and live overseas, I'll be sharing with you 3 important things that you need to change about how you think as an overseas Filipino. Are you ready? Number 1, your success isn't luck. Thinking that luck plays a very important role to your success can just make you utterly complacent. Most OFWs don't have the vision and the financial goals to guide them through their journey because they think that after their contract expires, they can easily look for the job that they want because they already have that overseas experience. OFWs splurge even before they can save up for their emergency fund, their investments, their debt payments, because they think that money is something that they can always earn. But in reality, we know that we don't know when things could go wrong. OFWs, like everyone else, could lose their jobs. They could get buried in debts. They could be sent home or choose to go home because of various of reasons, such as health problems, family emergencies, economic crisis, political disputes, and so on. And so we know these things do happen, but we don't prepare for it because in our minds, it's just about getting lucky. When before I had this, I believed in my heart that it's just that we have so much faith in our hearts. That's why we don't really plan for the future and set goals. But this idea changed after being exposed to a series of, or to a common thread of goodbyes and regrets. I know somebody who had a very good overseas opportunity back then, and he was also compensated very well. And he was also able to send home money without questions. He was also able to live his life, without savings. But when things turned around for him, he found himself back in the Philippines, and, he was empty-handed. And he even found out that they had more debts to pay. And so I was really surprised by how he reacted to it. When we saw each other, he shrugged. He was so sad, and he just said, "Sayang, hindi ako swinerte." And this line comes in various forms. They could say, we could say that, "Ay, ang malas naman," or "Ay, buti pa sila ang swerte," or "Balang araw siswertihin din tayo." So what about you? Do you think that you're a lucky OFW? So let's go to point number 2. Your success isn't just about money, shouldn't just be about money. You know, when I say success strategies for young overseas Filipinos, I'm sure some of you would think that this book is about getting rich abroad. And why not? You know, we have to be honest that OFW leave the country to get better opportunities that could possibly that will give them better pay and benefits that could possibly give them better life. And I have to stress the word possible, and it's not a guarantee. The truth is, we judge OFWs based on what they have purchased, how rich they appear, or the amount of money that they can give away. Look, I am not telling you this for any other reason but to ask you to change your minds about OFWs. Why? Well, it's because these measurements will be the same things that you'll measure yourself with when you yourselves become OFWs as well. You have to look rich to impress other people. You have to buy things to get respect, to command respect and get appreciation. What I'm saying is that you have to have a clear idea of what success means to you. So when I say successful OFW, don't think about big balikbayan boxes, that gold necklace, and even that stateside scent. You know, think about, measure your success based on how much you learn in a foreign country, how well you'll adjust to the experiences that will allow you to embrace diversity. And also, measure your success on the maturity that you'll gain from living abroad. Look, overseas life can open you up to a lot of things. And if you make it all about money, then money is all you'll ever have. And that's very, very sad. So your success shouldn't just be for you and your family. But when I was still finishing school, I never wanted to go abroad. I was part of, I had the idea in me that I'm a part of a generation who should decide to stay. But as they say, life happened for me. And back in 2008, I found myself having a hard time looking for the right job because back then it was still the economic crisis. And so when an overseas opportunity came knocking, I was half-hearted, but I knew I had to take it because I also wanted to prove to myself that I can make it on my own. And when I was in Taiwan, it was very difficult. My employers have been supportive, and the locals are also very helpful. But there's still the issue of homesickness, of the language barrier, of cultural differences. So it was still an emotional roller coaster ride for me. But you know, my struggles are nothing compared to what other OFWs around the world face. They are very vulnerable to discrimination, to injustice, to abuse. And these things do happen, but so we can't deny the fact that the OFW reality is a vicious trap for the country. Sure, you know, the government could boast of the growing remittances OFW send each year, but still, that amount may just be a small amount if we put real value on the time lost of that OFWs spend away from their loved ones and their families. And what about the brain drain of intellectuals, of professionals, of creative thinkers, of skilled labor, and so on? We could go on and on with this list of people leaving the country for better opportunities. And so you may have the OFW life that you dreamed of, but we will still be in this same OFW reality hamster ball. And not just us, you know, our children and our children's children will continue to be running in this same hamster ball if we don't consciously change our paths. You know, help OFWs in need, share our knowledge, and give back to the country or choose to return home. And so I leave you with that. You know, when you're already working and living overseas, don't let the essentials drown inside you. understand yourself better, fight your own battles, continue learning, and most especially, don't let go of the beautiful things that you leave back home. And thank you all for coming. Thank you so much. And I wish you all a good night. Thank you. Thank you.